Hello friends, I'm glad to see each of you on my YouTube channel. My name is Yana. I moved to America 5 years ago. I am licensed in 2 states in America as a cosmetologist. Currently, I work in the state of Florida as a lash extension specialist. I also have my own training school for specialists who want to do lash extensions, both online and offline. I'm recording this video to share my experience with you regarding the circumstances happening in the world right now. I know there are many immigrants in America. I am also an immigrant. We migrated with my family, husband, and children. And my goal and my desire is to share my experience with you so that you don't encounter and can easily overcome the difficulties that I went through. When I was validating my license, I had no one to ask for information or to help me. I went through all of this with God's help, but there were very few people who could guide me. That's why I want to help you. And one of my main goals for doing this is so that you can work legally, so that you do not expose yourself or your family to harm at risk. That it is possible to do all this, to validate your license, to set up a business, obtain a license, and work in salons or for yourself. Like, for example, I have my own salon, my own company. And further, I want to share with you how to validate your license, the path I went through. The first thing you need to start with is to do an evaluation of your diploma. When I arrived, I didn't know what it was. But my aunt suggested to me that there are companies that do evaluations. It's called an evaluation that assess your diploma. If I can put it this way, here in America, it's about the hours. The hours of practice, the hours of study that you completed in another state. For example, I studied in Ukraine. I trained as a cosmetologist, and here they evaluated my diploma as equivalent to what people receive in terms of education here. In America, another interesting fact is that each state has its own number of hours required to become a cosmetologist. And before you send your diploma for evaluation, you need to find out how many hours are needed to obtain a cosmetology diploma in your state. This can be researched. For example, how many hours I need, how many hours for aesthetics or facials in, say, Pennsylvania or Florida. I received my first diploma, confirmed my first license in the state of Pennsylvania. They required, I believe, 340 hours. In Florida, it's 240, which is 100 hours less. That's a big difference. And with your diploma, you also need an appendix with your hours. I didn't have it, so I contacted the school where I studied to have them send it to me by mail. They will issue a document listing the subjects you completed, the hours you received, and the practice hours. And you need to request this, possibly in such a way, of course, that your appendix has a sufficient number of hours for your state. Then they will only make your diploma equivalent. So this is the first thing. This is your diploma and appendix. It needs to be translated. By the way, for those who are listening to the video, if you realize that this information is what you need, I have a Telegram channel. I will leave a link in the description where I can answer your questions and help you with the documents. And I will try to create a checklist of all the documents I mentioned so you can have them at hand. So the first thing you need is your diploma and your appendix. The number of hours in the appendix must match the number of hours required in your state. If you have fewer hours and your state requires more, most likely it will not be considered equivalent. The diploma needs to be translated and notarized. There must be a notary seal. Then you go to your website, also Google Evaluation Center in USA. I know there's one in New York. In New York, by the way, I think it's one of the best. They provide the most hours, the most credits for cosmetologists, and in general for others too, because I also sent my nursing diploma there. There's one in Pennsylvania, and you can also Google in major states. Generally, there are such centers where you send your documents. The first thing you need to do once you've translated and notarized all your documents is to find on Google the site, Evaluation Center, how to evaluate my diploma. And there, you find it through the link and everything. As I communicated with them, it was all through email, by name. I wrote, I am so-and-so, I want to have my diploma evaluated. They sent me the address where I needed to send my diploma and what other documents were required from me. I think I made a color copy of the driver's license. My diploma, the supplement, all of that. The diploma and supplement were translated and certified. Then certificates, I think the school certificate, they required that from me as well. Again, all of this had to be in English and notarized. But even if I missed something, they will contact you and let you know which documents are needed. So, I sent all of this to them, and they continued to communicate with me and sent me a list of what else I needed to do. I also submitted fingerprints, went to the police to ensure I didn't have a criminal record. And when they said, okay, your diploma is equivalent to the diploma we issue in the state of Pennsylvania. For our students, it was called, in Pennsylvania, a cosmetologist is called an esthetician in America. A cosmetologist here is not the same as a cosmetologist. For example, in Ukraine or Russia. Here, cosmetologists include both hair and nails, facials, and everything. That is, if you are a cosmetologist who deals with the face, you need to apply for a facial specialist or esthetician. It's different. I hope this is clear to you. When they wrote to me that my diploma is equivalent to the diploma issued in America, I was not allowed to take the state board exam. So the only difficult task besides sorting out all these documents was to pass the exam. This is what is required of you. Why did I mention $100 in the video? I paid $100 for the exam, for taking the exam. I passed the exam on the first try, but they will give you many chances. As I was explained, until you pass, you will have the chance to retake it. I don't know how it is in your state, but this is how it was in Pennsylvania. What I found this little book, a thick one. It costs a lot. It had the exams for the previous test from the past 5 years. I took it in 2019, and I found all the tests from the previous 5 years. Now, if you are going to take it in 2024, you will have from 2024 and the previous 5 years. And all this on Amazon. I knew very poorly. So if your English is not good, I encourage you not to be afraid. Don't be afraid to go. Don't be afraid to try. I had a small child, and when my husband came home from work, I would take these tests. I would write everything down with a pencil, study, and eventually got used to it. But all these tests, I completed everything, and I also bought cosmetology materials, which was unnecessary, as I later found out. I didn't study it, just skimmed through it. Some questions related to the esthetician department. And I also Googled and searched for which books to buy to pass the exam. Mila's book. This is the book by Mila. This book is mainly used to train esthetician specialists in America. And I also highlighted everything here, everything I would say. The tests were not very difficult. A separate part, I will try to record a video, and if you are interested in such videos, subscribe to my channel and like. This will help promote my channel to people who really need this kind of information, to help not only you but also others. I will try to make a separate video about the state board exam protests. The one you need to pass, the one that costs only $100, or rather maybe a little more, but right now I don't think it's much more. The price has increased. And I will tell you what the criteria were, what the questions were, what categories, what the difficulty was, and how everything went. Right after the test, they gave me a slip saying I passed, that I passed weekly. And with this slip, I sent it to the woman with whom I had been corresponding all along, who sent me the permission before the exam. I chose the location there. These are all details, which I will tell you about later. I also sent all of this to them electronically. There was only the exam. This is all specifically the location where you need to go. And I don't know, 2 to 3 weeks later, my first license arrived in the mail, with which I then went to the salon in our city, and I worked with this license in the salon for 2 years. Friends, I really want, and my desire, the first is to encourage you. I know that many now, who are forced immigrants, who have moved, who had a substantial income. I also had a business in Ukraine. I worked in a very good salon with a very good salary, but we moved here of our own accord. I know that many are in such circumstances now. You are forced to leave everything and go. I really want to help you get back on your feet, and I really want to help you get a good job. I know that it's not degrading to not have a license or to do work that is considered dirty work, as they say. There is a time when we all do this, and we did it too. And my husband went and painted walls until he also got permission for his work. I want to help you with my experience and prove that it is truly possible to work legally, to really work in a salon with a license. It is truly possible to learn English, no matter how difficult it may be. With God's grace, with God's help, it is truly possible to start opening your own office, your own business, even to teach students. And I ask you to help me as well. If you like this video, if it was useful to you, please like it, subscribe to my channel, and perhaps leave a comment if it helped you. I will try to record new videos in which I will answer the questions you leave under the video or in the Telegram channel, which I will link below in the comments. Also, for those who may already have a license, many girls come to me to study in this state, in our state of Florida. I invite you to come to me. If you want to learn the profession of a lash maker, a master in eyelash extensions, I will gladly provide you with this information and would be happy to meet you in person. All right, dear ones, I bless you, encourage you. Everything will work out. I believe in you. And see you soon.